Is Wild Florida Drive-Thru Safari and Wildlife Park worth it? I'm going to answer that right off top and say yes, but really it depends on what you're looking for. In this video, we're going to tell you why it's a win and explain when it works. Wild Florida is just outside of Orlando and is about 45 minutes from the Disney and Universal parks. I would say that Wild Florida makes a great family and budget-friendly option when you're just looking for something to do.
Welcome to Fitness and Beer, and today we're at Wild Florida Drive-Thru Safaris. When we come to Orlando, we're always looking for activities to do with the family that aren't necessarily your standard theme park. And so today we're checking out this Drive-Thru Safari. We just got here and it's already been pretty cool. And as you see, we got a lot going on here.
Once inside the safari, the speed limit is only 5 miles an hour, but the animals are nearby, including in the road, so this makes total sense. You aren't allowed to exit your car, but there's lots of animals and should be plenty for everyone to see from inside the vehicle.
Here on Fitness and Beer, the question that we always try to answer when we share whether or not it's resort reviews, products, or whatever, is it worth it? So at the price of $31 per adult and $22 per child, it cost us about a total of $111 to get in here. And so far, within the first 10 minutes of the safari, it's been rather impressive. All right, we got to get back to sightseeing.
Inside the safari, it's totally okay to pull to the side for a prime photo opportunity.
Should I go around this guy?
So long as you remain on the road and leave enough room for other cars to pass by. There's feeding zones laced throughout the route, which keeps the animals active and pretty much guarantees that they're seen. While the majority of animals aren't perceived as the most dangerous types, the variety is big enough to keep the drive interesting and keep you guessing for what you may spot next.
Just trying to give you a perspective of like where these animals are in comparison to us and our cars. So as you can see, they're right there.
For some reason, to me, it felt more like a ranch with animals than a safari. Nevertheless, the look of the land and topography does change a bit throughout the drive.
I think we got to answer the obvious question, and that is the Drive-Thru Safari at Wild Florida. How does that compare to the safari at Disney World? And the short answer would be it's not nearly as majestic. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not. However, the experience is probably more immersive. Seeing as though you're driving your own car, you can kind of take your time making through the facility, and you can even pull over by your own choice and, you know, at places where you would like to observe what's going on longer. Traffic that we're experiencing today hasn't been very heavy, and yeah, you can really take your time getting through the park.
And of course, we're in Florida, so there's gators. We all enjoyed the drive, and our 4- and 7-year-old loved calling out the animals they could name. The safari exits near the giraffes, where you can pay extra for an opportunity to feed them.
We just came out of the safari. It was pretty cool. It probably took us about an hour to make it through, almost an hour exactly. And now we're about to go feed the giraffes.
Yeah, buddy.
I think feeding the giraffes is 5 minutes and $5 that are both totally worth it. And this is where you will encounter the small gift shop at Wild Florida. If you're continuing on to the wildlife park, give this one a pass. There's a better option there. The wildlife park has a rustic vibe that reminded me of the Outback and was more expansive than I initially thought. It's a great addendum to the Drive-Thru Safari. The park has a vast array of animals, ranging from the common to, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so we're inside the Wild Florida Gatorland Park, and the park is basically a zoo. And the experience of it, it's not bad so far. It's pretty cool. The crowd's not too thick, and you're able to see most of the exhibits or animals pretty readily. So we're gonna show you a little bit more of what this park is like.
The wildlife park is an easy walk and mostly accessible. I think you could probably see most of it within 1 to 2 hours.
Here we are at Gator Pond, and I'm just gonna be real with you. There is no shortage of gators here. This pond represents a good opportunity to actually see the gators in action. They're moving around, you see their mouths open. I mean, I'm even getting way too close and seeing some teeth. So check it out.
Wild Florida also offers airboat tours and animal encounters, but for those you may want to plan in advance because they were sold out on the day of our visit. Still, I felt like there was enough to keep us entertained. There's also a playground, and the gift shop here is a good size and filled with all the typical merchandise suitable to the Wild Florida theme.
Oh, I think we're about to finish up at the wildlife. I'm getting hungry.
I gotta say, this experience has been really cool. And so far, we've seen a bunch of animals, I gotta be honest with you, that I've never even heard of. So that's kind of an experience.
Lastly, there is a grill, but the line was really long for lunch, and unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to try it.
Hey guys, I wanted to take a second to basically break down our day. We started our day probably around 10:50 with the drive-through safari. That took about an hour. Then we came on over to the Gator Park, and we've been hanging out here for probably an hour. So it's a little after 1 o'clock, and we're close to finishing up our day. So I rate this activity probably about 2 or 3 hours worth of fun. But here's the thing, I want to talk about commitment. In order to do this, it's not really a huge planning commitment. It's like, it wasn't a bad drive for us. Parking is easy and the crowds aren't bad at all. So if you want to try something outside of the typical amusement parks, I'm going to give this one a thumbs up.